All right. Truly, 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 the real you loves you because the real you,
Is love.
the real you is love. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this 14th episode of Truly Live, your weekly digital coaches and co-host, Oliver and Yolanda Blue. And we are your transformational coaches here in these digital communities every Friday night. You can count on it. Every Friday night from at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you can count on us being here. And we're so happy and so grateful that you have chosen to join us tonight. And this has been a great Friday, hopefully for you. And if you're out there, how about just shouting out at us, letting us know by going to the chat or to the comment field and just let us know that you're there. Let us know where you're from. And also, how about hitting like and share? If this broadcast is meaningful to you, I'm sure you would want to share it with your friends. So why don't you hit the share button on your Facebook, and or if you are on YouTube, you can hit the like button on YouTube. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for showing up for work tonight, Miss Blue.
I'm here.
She's here, y'all. And if you are here for the first time and wondering, well, what is this? What are these two people all about? You know, they're sitting here, they looking cute. Well, what is their substance? Do they have any content? Well, we're glad you asked. And we just like to say that we are certified coaches. We have a personal development business called Truly OB, LLC. And this live show, Truly Live, which we're in our 14th episode, is an extension of our business, in where we come out here every Friday night and share with you what we know to be principles that can transform your life, principles that can up-level your life. And we share these out here on these platforms. We're actually live on Facebook, on two Facebook platforms, our personal platform and our business platform. We're also live on Twitter, and we're also live on Facebook. So you have an opportunity to each Friday to grab your best beverage, your most comfortable seat, and come sit with us for an hour. It's a great time too. We strategically are here at the end of a work week because I know, because I worked in corporate America for 39 years, and I know what Friday evenings can be like. And we all rushing for some, reaching or rushing for some comfort, something that don't remind us of work. And so we have created this safe place for you to land on Friday nights and can basically shift gears and turn away from the all the comings and goings and all of the challenges and demands of the week from home and work and out in the community, and just sit with us for an hour. And we're just going to, Yolanda and I, we're just going to love on you. We're going to bathe you with some positive, inspiring, encouraging, uplifting, empowering information.
All right now.
All right now. And so we thank you for choosing Truly Live as a source of information, inspiration, transformation, and empowerment, because that's what we do and that's what we share. And we help others to gain clarity about their infinite self or divine self, or we call it the real you. We also like to help these communities to consider and pursue. We like to help people to consider and to pursue the results that matters in your life. We've said on here many times that we don't have a choice of whether we get results or not, or we don't have a choice of whether we create or not. We're always creating, and we're always sitting in our results. And so we like to help others to consider different results and help others to get results that matters to them. We also want to let people know that their life has deep meaning and good purpose, because all of our lives do. And sometimes we're not aware of the purpose of our life. And so in this space, we discuss purpose, we discuss vision. We also like to share timeless content, which we call universal principles, meaning that they transcend time and space. The principle that we share, they transcend natural law or time and space. And if applied, can work in any situation, circumstance, or condition. And we also share practices and community access, and share our 3 decades of studying and applying transformation in our own life. And as a bonus, we're a dance-loving couple, fun-loving couple. And we've learned so much in 31 years on this journey together. And we've used joy and laughter to get us through some of the challenges. And so we're here tonight. See this big smile on my face? That's because I am truly happy, very happy. How about you, Miss Blue?
I'm good to go. Hello, Brenda Smith.
And Brenda's on with us tonight.
And Sheila Monroe Johnson, Miss Diane. So good to see you.
All right, Diane.
To know that you're on. And Eldred Rogers, Mr. Utopian. Hello, hello. And Sharon McNeil.
Oh, Sharon on with us tonight. All right, Sharon.
Yes.
Thank you guys for getting on tonight.
And letting us know that you're watching.
And let us know that you're watching. That. And this is an interactive show that we are creating. And so we encourage you to talk to us in the chats or the comments. If you have questions, you can put them there. If you have a comment, just put it there. And we're all adults and responsible people. So, but we like to get the two-way going, because if you walk away from one of our episodes and you have not been inspired or impacted by it, then we haven't done our job.
Yes.
So we invite you to participate by sharing your thoughts with us tonight. And Yolanda will be monitoring all of that, and we'll engage with you now. So we'd like to give a special acknowledgement, special shout out tonight for our patrons who are on here with us. Thank you so much And you might ask, well, what is a patron? Well, a patron is someone that has made a decision to partner with us, and they support this show uh, at different levels of financial support. And for that, they receive a lot of extra stuff. And so we'll mention that sometime during the broadcast, how you can become a patron with Truly Live.
As a matter of fact, we had said that the first 25 patrons would receive a
Yes.
special gift. And so
we're still within that.
Some of you have received your
yes.
special gifts. And then we actually had some folks that that decided to support in a way that we don't even have available.
We didn't even have
So-
we didn't even have a platform set up for this. And someone had been so impacted by the work that we're doing that they just said, hey, we just want to help support what you're doing, and knocked my socks off this week, and I appreciate that. And so I'd like to give a special shout out also to Ricky Atkins with 3A Services. Ricky is a very special friend of mine and Yolanda, and he strongly support the work that we're doing.
Yes. And we appreciate you.
And we
Ricky.
appreciate you,
your
Ricky,
wife
and your
family.
wife and your
We
family.
appreciate you guys dearly.
And also, we'd like to give a special shout out to the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, go Braves. If you're not a baseball fan, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series here in the last 7 days. And that's the second World Series championship that the team has won in their history. So it's only the second time the Braves have won a World Series. So we congratulate all you Atlanta Brave fans.
And we're going to also say a hello and thank you for being with us. For those of you who get on and support Truly Live on a weekly basis, and some of these people, we don't see the comments, but they let us know that they are watching. So that is Grandma Blue, that's my mother-in-law and Oliver's mom, and Bob and Carol, our dear friends,
yes,
up in Indiana. And
I have several friends out there that say, Blue, Oliver, we watched your show, and you and your wife, you guys are like, you've been doing this all your life. They say now she looks a whole lot better than you. But
I agree with
but
that.
So I have people all the time I'm running into and saying they're watching the show. But we don't know, we wouldn't know it unless you acknowledge yourself in the chat or in the comment field. So please do. We like to know that you're out there.
Yes,
we just want to love on you. That's all. Give you a shout out. So we're going to move on to our next segment. And we always like to start everything that we do by the use of gratitude, because we know from personal experience that gratitude can change the vibration, it can change the environment in an instant. And basically we say that gratitude is being thankful for everything that you have, everything you've done, just being thankful for the experience itself. And we know that gratitude has many different effects on us mentally, psychologically, as well as physically. When we choose to be in a place of gratitude versus in a place of what's the opposite of gratitude? If you ain't grateful, you what? You're ungrateful.
Well, I believe if you're not grateful, you're unaware.
You're unaware. And so we always like to start our shows out like that, to set the stage for what we're about to do. And it opens up our hearts, and it brings healing when we're grateful. It brings an awareness of abundance into our life. It helps to recenter us, especially in our minds and our thoughts. And
I like the one that she says that it activates the voice of intuition
it activates the voice of our intuitive self.
and stills the chatter of the mind. I
And
like
it's
that one
and it
too.
stills the chatter. You guys know what chatter is. You know, self-talk, chatter, self-talk, voices that appear to be speaking truth, but in reality, none of those thoughts or ideas serve our better interests. And so, gratitude is a way that we can still that. And gratitude can put us in a place of quietness so that we can begin to hear the heart and what the heart say, because the heart's always speaking love. The heart is always speaking um, safety. The heart always has solutions. And so gratitude is a way for us to get in that space.
Yeah, gratitude actually directs our thoughts to love.
Yes, absolutely. And I am truly happy and grateful for the opportunity that we have, Yolanda and I, to inspire you and to inspire others to come to know their true divine self and to find your voice in the world.
That's right.
And so I am grateful that we have that opportunity to do that. We don't take it for granted that you're going to be here listening. We don't take it for granted that we have the um, wherewithal to do this. But we are open and understand and accept and acknowledge the blessing that we receive in every moment.
Yes.
Um, our hearts beat. Our hearts beat without us even thinking about it. And there's one source that beats all hearts. Even when we don't even think about it, our hearts beat because we could not maintain our physical existence without the beating of the heart, the passing of the blood. And so we are grateful for the source that beats our heart.
Yes. Eldred says that attitude, he said attitude of greatness, and he gave us, he put 3 exclamations behind that. Love it, love it, love it. So we are happy and grateful for all of you who choose to join us.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move to our next segment. And if you've been with us, you also know that we like to preface our shows with inspirational quotes or words of encouragement. And we always go out into the world where there's been so much said that would be inspiring to us. And we like to share one of those each week with you. This week's quote comes from a young lady named Lisa Renee Hall. And the quote goes like this. Would you like to read it, Yolanda?
At the core, people aren't bad. What's bad are the patterns people have learned.
Wow. At the core of humanity is love. That's who and what we are. But what we all experience until we wake up to a reality of this love is the bad habits or the patterns that we learn. And those bad patterns, habits, eventually leads us to a state of unhappiness, um, sometimes even depression, disappointment, because we are these patterns and habits are yielding results that we do not want. And one thing you know, if you've been around Yolanda and I any amount of time, we are all about we're all about helping others to find out what they would truly love.
Yes.
Because it is what you would truly love that is part of your happiness.
Yes.
And so, again, at the core, people are love. And love is the reason for everything. It is the reason for everything. Love is whole. knowing only truth. Life at its best is the expression of love. Our best life is when we express love to ourselves and to one another. That's our best expression because love is the reason for it all. And when we forgive, it's simply that we recognize that we have become afraid of love. And so we simply come back to love or we forgive. Pure love is the absence of all activities, of all experiences. And experiences is the activities of our lives. So, thank you, Lisa Renee Hall, for this very inspiring, encouraging quote. And this is a great segue. And the reason I chose that quote is because it's a great segue into our truly life lesson for tonight, which we're going to go ahead and move into, unless you have something that you want
I'm going to
to
say
share.
hi to Sylvia. She has joined us.
Well, hello, Sylvia. Is that Sylvia Ham?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Well, hello, Sylvia. We're so happy that you are here with us tonight. Sylvia is a friend and a leadership partner with me with the nonprofit organization Utopian Alliance.
Yes.
And we appreciate you and the other team members for being here with us tonight.
I'm having a little challenge with my wrist, so I've got some typos in the chats, but I think you all can understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I've already had two, but it's that thumb is not
The thumb's not responding.
Well, it's painful. So
okay.
I keep getting these hints that I need to go and check this out.
You've been getting them hints for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go because it's getting unbearable.
All right. Well, anyway, tonight in our Truly Life lesson, we're actually this is the third message in the same series. So we're actually doing part 3 tonight of a series we started 2 weeks ago. And the reason we're still talking about this subject is because there's been so much interest from you, the viewers, as well as there's been so much that has emerged as we've put together the content to share with you. And it just kind of like exploded in our thinking, and so we haven't been able to get through the material. So we've had to extend it not only to 2, but this is the third presentation that we're doing on this subject. And we started with talking about the conditioned self. And what we said about the conditioned self is that it is a collection of negative thoughts, limited beliefs, patterns of thinking, and habits that leads us to results that we don't want and certainly don't make us results that don't make us happy. Mm-hmm. And we also introduced a transformational term that is used out in this coaching and transformation community that Yolanda and I swim in. We introduced the term a paradigm. And what we said about paradigms are basically they are synonymous to what the conditioned self is. And these are patterns, belief systems, thought processes that we have learned over the years or been conditioned over the years. I mean, starting as early as, the day we came out of mother's womb, and the world began to condition us to a limited view of not only ourselves, but a limited view of each other and the world that we live in. And that all came through many different avenues of conditioning, from parenting to our teachers and mentors. And, you can watch, once a child is old enough to watch television, he's beginning to get conditioned by what he's viewing on the television. Mm-hmm. The children are very impressionable. And so they watch the adults that are in their life, and they begin to set patterns after what they see the adults do. And so over a period of time, what we end up being or thinking about ourselves is this self that we've made versus the true self which we are, which is an infinite, unlimited being that is at the core of us is love. And then so as a result of that, we begin to experience frustration in life, disappointment in life. Uh, a lot of times we don't even have direction because these collections of paradigms begin to influence the decisions that we make, and a lot of and most of the time it get buried down into our subconscious to where we're not even conscious of the fact that we're making certain decisions because we have a certain belief system that is not based on the truth. Mm-hmm. And so we're operating from a point of view that is false, that's illusionary. It's not from a point of view of truth of who we are. And so if you start out wrong, you have to end up wrong. There's no way you can start out wrong and end up in the right place. You can't start going to California from North Carolina heading east. You're not going to get there. You're going to run your car in the Atlantic.
It would just be a very scenic and maybe wet.
It would be a very scenic and a wet route. And if you don't, get some jet engines
or to get it, or a
boat, then you may sink. So we spent the last 2 weeks talking about this, about paradigms, and that realized that just like in a computer has an operating system. I'm looking at my computer right now, and it has an operating system that's really making the decisions, doing the calculations, but I can't see that operating system. But that's what's really running the computer. It's not the casing, it's not the screen, but it's the operating system that's running it. And likewise, our beliefs, our belief system, our thinking, our patterns of doing things or ways of being, all these are a result of an operating system within us that was conditioned in us that doesn't serve our better interest. So we've spent the last 2 weeks talking about that and the impact of that on our life. And some of you have really chimed in on this subject. But tonight we're gonna move on from just talking about the conditioned self or the paradigms that don't serve us. We're going to share some practices with you tonight that can help you shift your paradigms or shift your perception or have a shift in your operating system. And so that we can be coming from a place of truth. We can be coming from a place of reality, a place of love, a place of our true self, which is infinite, which is unlimited. Our true self, which has purpose. Our true self is divine. It's eternal. It's without birth. It's without death. Our true self always was and always will be. And when we come, our true self is a place of innocence. If you ever observed children, babies, children, very young children, before they get conditioned, when they are still really in touch with the divine environment that they came from, if you would notice them, they have no attachments to anything on the planet. They have no attachment to it. And so they are like just this free expression of life, and that only lasts for a few years.
Well, I'm not certain what you, maybe you can expound on what you mean that they have no attachment to life, because you do know that babies learn in utero. So they are learning, yes, while they're being conditioned while they're in the womb.
To a degree, yes, but they have not developed a lot of the self-defeating patterns and thought processes
Oh, okay.
that eventually what causes all of us to be so unhappy or to be destructive or to you know uh, to psychologically not know and understand what and who we are.
Mm.
And and so with that being said, the reality is very few humans come without getting conditioned at some point and having to reverse that condition back to their original self. And so what we see happening in the world, so when we look out into the world and we see the all of the activity that divides us, separates us, cause us to compete against each other, to see each other in ways that are not healthy. When we create patterns of behavior that is self-sabotaging, not understanding that what we would have for our brother, we're going to have for ourselves because there's only one of us.
Well, I think that goes back to we don't understand that how we see our brother is actually
How
how we
we
see
see ourselves.
ourselves.
Yes. Because when we look out into the world, basically we're looking at a reflection of what's in our own minds. Ooh, I need
And
to say that again.
mhm.
When we look out into the world and what we see, what we interpret that world to be, what we perceive and what we see, it is a reflection, not of what's in the world, but it's a reflection of what's in our own mind. That's why it's so important that we talked about the critical nature of understanding that the mind is our responsibility to renew or to bring it back into alignment with its original function, which is to uh, work as a mechanism, a servant to support the reality that we are loved, that we are whole, that we are innocent, that we are eternal, that we are infinite. Talking about our true self, our real self, not the conditioned self that we made based on the conditioning that we received from all the different avenues into our life. And then we make those we make those conditionings truth.
Mhm.
In reality, they are not the truth.
So, Eldred had asked a question. I was going to save the question until the end, but he's made another comment. He said, "Can you be afraid of love when you have not yet defined it?" And I'm just going to say that we um, we make a lot of judgments about things that we don't know and understand,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't stop us from making the judgment or even participating. And I'll give you a prime example. When we sit down in the chair, we don't necessarily know how the chair is made or how, the chair,
the design,
or
how much
the
weight it'll hold.
we don't really know that stuff, but we have, we're conditioned to believe that if we sit down, the chair is going to
It's
get
going to
us.
hold us.
We also don't necessarily understand the law of gravity, but
But the law of gravity holds us here, keeps us from floating away.
it certainly does. But I mean, so we function in a lot of things that we don't necessarily understand.
Right. And because
And we make judgments
that's right.
about those things.
Right.
And those judgments, what we're wanting you all to get to the point that you can recognize is those judgments are actually because of the beliefs that we already have. And this is from our conditionings, so it's our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings that are, that has been propagated for a while. And so we will make those judgments, not understanding that we may certainly be in a position where we are self-sabotaging ourselves.
I'm gonna get over here close to you. She gets to blushing when I get close. Can't y'all see? Look, see, See, the closer I get, the more she blushes. That's because she loves me.
Oh, Jesus. uh, Eldred also said that he said fractured thinking comes from a fractured mind. That is very, very the
Absolutely.
case.
And a fractured mind comes from conditioning. It doesn't just happen on its own.
So Sheila asked the question. This is Sheila Johnson. She said, "How do you embody the true self when circumstances may lend itself? When circumstances may not lend itself to a higher level of thinking." Let's see. She said, hope that makes sense."
Yeah, it does.
Oh, Evelyn Spivey is watching. Hello, Evelyn.
Hello, Miss Spivey. Great to see you. I call you the healed. I call you the healed and the blessed, Miss Spivey. And she know what I mean.
Yes. So, how do we embody the true self when circumstances may not lend itself to a higher level of thinking?
Well, that comes through awareness, and when you understand that you are not your external conditions or circumstances or conditions. Those are just conditions. Those are just experiences, but you are not that. Uh, you can stand apart from those situations, circumstances, and conditions that don't lend to your higher self, and you can observe them. The mere fact that you are the observer, that you are the aware from them and can stand apart from them, lets you know that that is not your higher true self.
Mhm.
That is just the movie playing out on the screen of your awareness.
Also, our true self, um, truth resonates with truth.
Yes.
And I'll give you, let me see if I can give you an example. There have been times in my life when I knew that I knew that it just wasn't right. Didn't understand why, or but just knew it. I mean, I think we all have experienced where we've been somewhere and we know that someone is saying something or doing something that is in violation of who we are. And so that's a very basic example of how that is the truth that is in us. That's the real us, the true self. It's our true self that is the one that stands up. Truth doesn't. We have this thing where we think that we have to defend truth and we have to fight for truth and all that kind of stuff. And actually, that's not necessarily the
Right.
case.
Right.
And just when she said
Evelyn.
no, this is Sheila. When she said,
Oh, Sheila, yes.
how do you embody the true self when circumstances may not lend itself to a higher level of thinking? I believe the question that would need to be asked is, what is blocking me from that higher level of
Right.
truth?
And it has to do with our where we're putting our attention.
Yes.
It's where we're focusing our attention on. We always have the opportunity to focus our attention on 10,000 things. But when you wake up to the reality of your true self being uh, infinite, separate from anything that is not love in life, even though we find ourselves in an environment where we
So
can see the
infinite,
opposite of that.
so infinite, not separate, infinite, totally embodied in love.
Yes, yes. Once we embrace the reality of who we are,
Yeah.
and then from that point of view, we're now looking with a different vision. We're looking with an awareness of oneness. We're looking from the awareness of true light, and we understand what's in the world is only a reflection of what's in the mind of humanity that's been manifested. And so we know how difficult it is to change an external situation or circumstance or condition, but it's much easier for you to change your mind. And when we change our mind, most situations, circumstances, and conditions that we thought were so debilitating, just a shift in our perception causes that thing to not be so insurmountable. In fact, at this moment, I like to just share this book right here. Um, it's
See
called,
if you can get it a little
yeah.
closer.
This book
Oh
was
no, we can't.
no.
The light.
This
Yeah. Oh,
this
there we go.
this book is, the name of this book is called "Change Your Thought, Change Your Life" by Wayne Dyer. He's
So it's the light that reflects. And
yeah,
if I do it like this, you can kind of
yeah.
sort of see
Wayne
it.
Dyer is an author of 30 something books, but he's very inspiring work in transformation. And the name of the book, it tells you, change your thoughts, change your life, because our thoughts are our life. And so life is really lived, when you understand that life is really lived out through the mind. By the time it becomes something physical, it's already a result of thoughts. And so that when we understand that it is the thoughts that are creating the external conditions, then from our pure self, from our true self, we begin to renew our thoughts and get into practices that causes us to align our thoughts with our true self. Now we become effective in being able to change external conditions more effectively. And that's why I want to get into a few of these practices tonight.
So here is the thing. When we change our view of ourselves, then we change our view of our world.
Yes.
And then we'll change how we view what it is that we
Yes.
view.
Yes.
But it all starts with us.
It all starts with us.
And so an example of that is, if I'm angry and upset and frustrated over something that has happened. Let's say someone cuts me off while I'm driving. I can choose.
That's an external condition.
That's an external condition, something that I didn't necessarily have control over.
Right.
Okay?
In many cases, you don't have
Many
control
times
over it.
we don't. So if I decide to retaliate, I could
From a place of separation and division and competition.
Yes.
And
Or feeling that I have been wrongly
done,
treated,
and so you want to judge the other person.
So, and
bring harm,
and more than that, then I'm going to correct that other person.
and you're going to correct the other person.
So I drive my car really, really fast and cut them off. Cut them off. Well, we don't know what in the world will happen. How many times have we seen this happen on the highway?
With the road rage.
And so people are just running and cutting in front of you, and some people are going to try to get back in front of them, and everyone is not that calm when they're driving, and so then that can cause another person to have a reaction, and then it could just be a horrible thing.
Yes.
Or I could be an alert driver and
an awakened driver.
Awakened, aware, alert, and see that there is a car that's coming very, very fast, and I almost always know when they're going to cut you off before they've actually cleared your car.
You anticipate it.
So because of that, I'm already touching my brake. I'm already moving over slightly in my lane, because people are just not aware. And then what I do is I choose to bless those people, because I want them to get to where they're going safely without harming anyone else.
Yes. Sharon McNeil says, hurt people hurt people. I've been thinking, loving, and treating people the way I've been treated for years. What steps can I take to change my pattern of thinking? I need to learn kingdom thinking.
Yes.
That's a great question.
So the steps for that is to understand this. If there are just a few principles that we live by, it really will help us to change our world and then begin to impact the rest of the world. And that is what I would have for myself is what I have for my brother is what I would have for myself. That comes from the teaching that says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
And then I really love Carlton's, and we heard this years and years ago. Bishop Carlton Pearson, he asked the question, does this add to your life or does it take away from your life?
Yes.
So the things that we are doing, does it add to my life or does it take away from my life? And when I'm doing things to other people, does it add to their life or does it take away from their life?
Right.
So there are just some simple questions that we can ask ourselves and very quickly
Right.
change, our
Right.
direction.
Well, let me just go through a few of the practices that we want to share with you on how to address Sharon's questions and Sheila's question. I think if we go through these, it will give you some practical tools.
Eldred said, drawing conclusions comes from conditional thinking.
Yes.
He asked, doesn't it? Yes, it does. He says higher level thinking helps us to have a different perception on circumstances, and it can turn living problems to a joyful occasion. Adrienne is watching. Thank you, Adrienne, for joining us. And Tom Barley is watching.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Adrian. Well, so here are just a few. This is not all inclusive practices that you can put in place to help to shift the paradigm, to change the paradigm, replace things in your life, patterns and thinking processes that doesn't serve your better interest. So, and you've heard this before from us, is first thing, the most important thing is awareness. It is the most important thing, just to be aware.
So notice what you're noticing.
Yeah, just notice what you're noticing about yourself. Notice what you notice about your self-defeating patterns, your self-defeating thought processes, and the unwanted results that you're getting as a result of that. We said earlier in previous broadcasts that what we long for in our heart, what we long to have, to be, to do, to give, to share, to express,
to
create, and also what we are discontent with, what we want less of in our life. These are ways that life speaks to us, sharing with us.
Actually helping to guide
us into an awareness of what we would truly love.
Yes.
So number one is awareness. And all of us at our very core have all the awareness that is available. We just need to become more aware. And we become more aware by having more knowledge and understanding. And so,
or at least being open
and being open.
Being open to
you're being here on this particular show tonight where we're sharing this kind of information. You don't get this kind of information just anywhere. But you specifically came here because there's a certain kind of information that's being shared by Yolanda and I that you obviously deem is beneficial to you. So you are gaining knowledge and understanding by hearing this information. And by gaining knowledge and understanding, you are expanding your awareness.
Yes.
Okay? You're expanding your awareness about who you are. You're expanding your awareness about the laws that govern life, govern the world. We're teaching universal principles, timeless principles that are, invisible laws. But if you don't understand how they work, they will work against you. We're teaching things where you can align your life, your thinking, your talking, your being in alignment with love and life, because that's who you are. But if you don't know that's who you are, you join the crusade of the world, which is conditioning us to be divisive, separated, at war with one another, divided over very immature things like race and color and gender and religion. And, you get caught up in all that divisive conditioning. It only leads to so much frustration. And that's why we see so much frustration in the world, because people are not walking in the awareness of truth. So one way to change the operating system that you operate from, to change the conditioned self, is through awareness. And that has to be a deliberate effort to put yourself in the place of truth so that you can expand your awareness.
Yes.
Secondly, is you have to take an assessment. You have to pause. We have to pause our life. All of us get to a point where we say there must be a better way because it's not working. I'm not getting the results I want. I'm frustrated. I'm, things are not working, and we know it. Our life is telling us that. So we have to be willing to pause and take an assessment of our life, where we are in this moment, because you can't know where you're going till you know where you are. And so we pause. Here's another practice.
Great.
Pause and take an assessment. An assessment can be simply you sitting down with a blank piece of paper and a pen, and you draw on one side, your current results, and put on the other side the results that you would like.
You know what? I like to do the question. Do I know everything about so we're noticing what we're noticing
Right.
about ourselves,
Right.
in whatever the circumstance, situation, and condition is. And then I'm going to ask myself the question, do I know everything there is to know about this?
That's right.
About this circumstance, situation,
Right.
or condition that I'm in.
Because, we mentioned a couple of episodes ago that you and I got to a point where we sit down and came to a realization that we didn't know anything. Or what we knew was not going to get us the desires of our heart. We came to that conclusion early in our marriage, and made a decision that we were willing to give up anything in our life that was not serving our better good. Now, it took years. That took years of processing after that, but we at least we got to the point where we realized that we needed help, and we needed to change our thinking, change our perceptions. We needed to work to install new perceptions about ourselves, because a lot of things we were still carrying was a carryover from the previous generation and the generations before that and the generations before that. And we said no. We knew that there was a better way, and we was willing to give up everything we knew and start over. And the first place we need to start over is in the way we think.
Yes.
In the way we see ourselves, because generally that is the source of the problem.
Yes.
And don't feel like you're isolated out there if you're hearing some things you haven't heard before and it's resonating. No man escaped what I just shared with you. All of us start in that boat. Okay? So, awareness.
So notice what we're noticing.
Notice what you're noticing.
Pause and take the assessment.
Pause, take an assessment. And then get clarity. Get clarity on what you would love. Ask yourself that high vibrational question that we've talked about many times in this broadcast. What would you love? What would you love? Ask yourself that question and begin to write down the things that you would love without any limitation. Not considering finances or conditions or situations, circumstances. Forget all of that. You just got a magic pen, and you just want to write down the things that are in your heart that's been there all your life that you would love to be, to do, to give, to share, to express in your life. What would you love? So once you take the assessment, you now write down the thing that you would love, what you love your life to look like in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Write it down without any limitation. Won't cost you nothing. All you need is your imagination. All you need is to pause and get quiet and allow those things that been in your heart all your life to be expressed through you writing it down on a piece of paper. The wisdom book said, without a vision, the people perish. And all of us came here with a vision planted within inside of us. We've tried everything else. It's time to listen to our heart. Mm-hmm. So once you, and we told you that what you write as a result of asking yourself that question, that is your blueprint for the rest of your life. Now you got direction. Now you know where you're going. And you've taken assessment of where you've been and where you are. Now you know where you're going.
Well, it certainly helps us to begin to stop self-sabotage.
Yeah, and get off the
Beca- be-
hamster and get
be-
off the hamster wheel.
Yeah, because once we know what it is that we really want,
What you really
to
want.
do,
That's right.
then
That's power.
we can begin
That's power.
to make decisions
Based on.
and take actions based on what it is that we would love,
Absolutely.
what we would truly love,
Absolutely.
as opposed to giving our energy to that which we don't even want anyway.
Absolutely.
So Sharon said, lately I've been taking, okay, let me see. Let me go back up here, because she said, I'm experiencing all that now. Awareness has been scary to her lately. She says she's been taking personal inventory of herself, and she's never done that before. Way to go, Sharon.
Yeah, way to go, Sharon. And it's the beginning of this process that we all must go through. Let me keep going, because my God, there's so much coming up in this right now. We might even need a fourth week.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, because I got things here that I'm not going to get to, because our time is about up.
Okay, well, go ahead and get through one more then.
Let's do one more. So now that we have become aware, we've noticed what we're noticing, we've listened to our longings and discontents, we've taken an assessment of where we've been, where we are presently. We know the results that we have presently, and a lot of these results we're not in love with. And now we've used our imaginary capacity to imagine a life that we would love, and we've written that down. That has become our vision. That has become our blueprint. It's become our life. You put your life on paper. Once you've done that step, the next step, once you got the clarity on what you would love, then you acknowledge that there is a gap between where you are right now and what you desire to be. There is a gap. The results you have right now and the results that you desire, there's a huge gap in between there. You have to acknowledge that gap. That's the next step. That's the next step in changing the conditioned self. That's the next step in installing new paradigms into your life. So how do you navigate the gap? That's the next question. How do I navigate the gap? And most of us cannot navigate the gap on our own, because if we could have, we would already have done it. So Yolanda and I found out many years ago, early in our life, that there were people that was already doing what we wanted to do, giving what we wanted to give, being what we wanted to be, sharing what we wanted to share. And so we made a decision that we were going to place ourselves under mentors, tutors, teachers, coaches. That's what we did for many years. We found people that were doing and having the successes that we desired, and we placed ourselves under them to learn, to navigate the gap. Because if I could have done it on my own, we would have done it. And so we are products of being coached. And that's why when it came to a certain point in our life, we realized what had happened in our life and that we wanted it to happen for other people. So we, when we sat down and visualized this next chapter of our life, we knew instantly we wanted to coach. We wanted to mentor people. We wanted to share transformational and universal principles that would help people to become unstuck and unhappy. And so that's how we're here now talking in this platform.
We knew that there's a way out.
Yes.
And it's not an impossible way, and it's not even a very difficult way.
Not a difficult.
So we wanted to help others to begin to move into the direction that they really wanted.
Absolutely.
Hey, the pastors are on.
Oh, why?
Hello, Pastor Sawyer and co-pastor Tony. She says, "Hey, Yo-Yo and Ollie."
Oh, you're never too late. You're never late.
Always glad to see you.
You know that this episode is going to be on multiple platforms, and you can catch the replay.
That's right. That's right.
And you guys,
But we love to have you on
we love to
live.
have you on.
Isn't it neat that when you see something that someone has written or you think about someone, isn't it neat how it just can bring
Energize
a
you.
huge
Yes, energy.
A huge
Yeah.
there's a change in vibration.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there are certain things whenever I say the pastors, I can immediately
Yeah.
see images of the two of them.
Yeah.
Love
we
you guys
and we
dearly,
love
too.
these folks because they're mystics, great teachers, mentors,
Yeah.
and they carry a heavy energy with them. So
Oh, yeah.
you guys stepping into this space, even for a few minutes, you have energized this space, and we thank you for it. We thank you, thank you, thank you. But we're at the end of this talk tonight, and we're not finished.
Wow.
If you've heard one practical um, thing tonight that you can put into place this week for yourself.
Hey, write it in the chat right quick.
Put it in the chat right
Put
quick.
it in the chat right quick.
Just one.
If you heard something that you
Can
can say, I can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this, and I'm going to commit to do this week. Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do.
And I know that they can do them all. You know why?
Absolutely.
Because none of the things that we have shared so far requires any other resource than your willingness to do it.
Your willingness.
Other than your willingness.
Especially now that you have some awareness.
Yes. We have expanded. I've expanded my awareness tonight just teaching and sharing on this subject. And so I know if you're out there and this message is resonating with you, if you have gotten some insight on things that there go my sister.
And my dear best
Yes,
friend. Hello, Sheila, dear.
Excuse me, that's my sister-in-law just popped in.
She said she will catch the replay.
Well,
we're so glad that you hopped in to let us know that you were watching.
Thank you for being here tonight, Sheila.
You know how deeply I love you, girl.
Thank you. And you would enjoy tonight's episode, Sheila, because we got into sharing some practices tonight. And we know how you are enamored by practices. So we're doing that tonight. But we didn't get through all the practices. So we're going to have to now.
Sharon says she's going to be doing this week.
All right. So, great job,
so remember, Sharon. And I actually went ahead and wrote them down in the chat. And so what
did you put all 3 or 4 of them?
Well, I did the 4. So we're going to notice what we're noticing about ourselves in this situation, circumstance, or condition. We're going to pause, take an assessment, and we're going to ask ourselves the question: do I know everything about this situation, circumstance, or condition? 3, we're going to get clarity about what I would love to be, to do, to give, to share, to express, to create. And then we're going to acknowledge that there is a gap in where we are and where we want to be.
Yes, that was number 4. And then number 5 is.
Can we do 5?
Number 5 is if you need. We said that generally you cannot navigate that gap by yourself. So you have to ask yourself the question: do I need help? And in most cases, the answer is what? The answer is yes. So if you need help with the process, consider getting yourself a mentor, a teacher, a coach. Okay? Consider that. And that was number 5.
Okay. I'll do it.
So those are the 5 steps. Those are 5 practical steps, practices that you can engage in this week. And come back and see us next Friday at 7, because we have so many more here that we're going to share in part 4 of this series. But I like this because, if we're doing this just to spit out information and people are not learning and expanding, then we need to reconsider what we're doing. But we're here going into part 4 because you guys had given us great feedback through these 3 sessions and have caused us to not be able to get through all the information. So we're here for your growth and your expanded awareness. So we'll go as slow as we need to.
Well, it's neither slow nor fast. What will happen is we will address the information So because what we're looking for is for us each to be on our growing edge.
Yes. So thank you so much. Boy, time just slips away, Lonnie. So we're going to end tonight like we always end. We love to end by speaking a blessing over the viewers. We like to end by, um,
We got a tremendous blessing today. We
yes,
got to see a client of ours
yes,
that actually did was on and
that
did
was
a
interviewed.
yeah and did a talk
Yes,
today that just had gone through the process, and it was just wonderful to
uh,
see
her
her in her
growth.
element. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, just great
yes.
and
And she
wonderful.
actually was one of our clients and went
Yes.
through our coaching program. So anyway, with that,
Along with she's done some other work as well, but it's
yes,
just great to see
see
her
see her advance.
her growth. Yeah,
Yes.
so wonderful.
So with that
So we're going
said,
to do the loving kindness meditation. This is the Dalai Lama's loving kindness meditation that we do as a blessing.
yes.
So we bless all of you who join with us and those that you hold near and dear in your heart.
So we say, may you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
May you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama.
That's the Dalai Lama's loving kindness
And we add
meditation.
to that, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are in God. We extend this blessing to you all and to every being that is on the planet.
Well, thank you so much, honey. You was great tonight.
Well, you're pretty good yourself.
Thank you for showing up for work.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure.
Well, I'm Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And we're the
OK
OK Blues. Bye bye. We'll see you next time. We love you.